Welcome to the Saturday morning top-up show. G'day, Glenn. G'day, Gord.
G'day, Gord. G'day, Mark. Saturday morning, yay.
Morning, guys. Yeah, lovely day.
No, I just love every Saturday morning. Where'd you go on the race?
Yeah.
every Saturday's Christmas. It's cold, it's windy, and we kick off at noon. Obviously the pattern's going to be key, but what are we going to tell from the first race? I'm not sure. And then, of course, we've got a highway. Race one, there's a bit of money for home ground and True Marvel. If I can just share my...
Well, in your pearls of wisdom, Mark, you haven't got 2,900 back to 2,400 as a tick.
No, I haven't. So what's happening here? Not much. Very little. Well, look at that desert path. Like it's sitting there. Not much interest. Home ground, who probably looks the likely leader in this race and did run fourth in the VRC Derby. I suppose there'll be some. You know, I know that Gord suggested that it was flattered the other day, but I suppose there'll be people expecting improvement from this horse stepping up in distance and, you know, maybe with suspect chasers. But looks an even betting race at this stage and a classic opener.
It is a bit of a classic opener, a bit of a yawn, actually.
Well, I tell you what, I'm definitely betting in the race now, and my primary bet is switched from Birth of Venus to number one, Kiss the Bride. You mentioned in the show, Mark, yesterday about that only 2,400 metre run, and I hadn't done the vid on it yet. It was absolutely sensational. And that was a similar platform to what it's coming into this race with as well. And I know like J-Mac off for J-Par on is not a positive, but if you notice that Brendan Lorena rode it in its only ever 2,400 metre run, and it was an absolutely sensational run. So...
Yes.
So I'm either going to be cursing you or loving you this afternoon, Mark, because this is the one race where I've changed my mind because of your information.
All right. Yes, and it is a touch speculative because, of course, it doesn't fit the 2,400 metre profile. But yeah, we'll see.
Brendan Lorena, Mark, what happened to him? Where is he?
Was he South African or?
Oh, he might have went home.
Maybe. Race two, bit of an action here on your tip, Gord. It's me, and there's 4,500 matched on the fair, and they, it's already sunk down to around the $4 mark. Obviously, an eye-catching debut, and the stablemate Pinnacle Prince is soft as a result of the firm on the favourite. Both of these horses electing to run here rather than go to Taree. Glenn, you've got a roughie here, number 7, Amy's Shadow, that looks...
Yeah, I've got a good feel for 7, but highways have not been my forte the last 12 months. But stable's flying, it's racing well, it's charging through the line. $19 or $20 is an easy bet for me to have.
Perhaps, Gord, we should find a highway specialist. I mean, there are some guys that actually do a good job on the highway, and maybe we should helicopter them in for the highway each Friday morning.
I'm not sure I know anybody that does the highway that well.
I'm sure we can.
It's normally syndicates.
Yes, Flindell, helicopter them in.
Yeah.
Right. Race 3 is, I'll tell you what's interesting about this race is that there's a tactics change on Mercurial Lad, who loses the blinkers, has been back to the trials since it led and fainted second up. It's to be ridden off the speed.
Wow, that helps Frosty Rocks a lot.
But probably helps Rothenberg as well, Glenn, because this horse will get into easily get into a forward position here. They're battlers.
These horses are almost like 2,400 metre horses, but just over a mile. Do you know what I mean?
Look, come on. It's not that bad a field. It's not like...
No. They just don't have a sprint in them. That's what I mean. They click along.
Yeah. But, it's a lot better than the Adana race we saw 3 weeks ago.
Frosty Rocks, when it retires, should go to the riding school and teach the apprentices how to steer a horse.
Yeah. Anyway, it is...
I'm still very keen on number 12. I didn't mention it was my best bet in the show. I forgot about it. I was so wanted to wind the show up, but it's my best bet of the day, number 12. I think you're going to get about $9 or $10. I don't know how it's going to miss a place.
Backers and layers there for New King, 3,000 matched at this early stage is, indicative of a bit happening. Other than that, there doesn't seem to be a lot to read into that that particular screen. Anything you want to say there, Gord, or we'll just move right along?
I think there's 3 chances. I'm 11 from 12 and 2.
Race 4 is interesting because obviously we lost the weird Kaketa kit, and September Run is a big firmer there. 660 wanted on the fair, 3,000 matched. Is it the new leader here?
I struggle getting Waller horses in my head as leaders.
Well, it should get forward there. It's got a profile that because came back and then went up to Brisbane and has had a short break. And J Mac.
Dame Giselle can't get on the bunny there.
Well, she can. It's all about intent. Of course, she resumed at 1,000 last time when it was clearly, not game day. A good ranter, Tom from Melbourne, he's been on to me about See You Soon and that piece of gear you pointed out, Gord. Apparently she wouldn't go in the gates in the trial recently. And so she was scratched at the barrier in the whatever trial she was supposed to start in. They fitted the collar and she went in as meek as a lamb.
Oh, okay. So it's taken off in the stalls.
I don't know if it's taken off in the stalls, but it
goes all the way out there anyway. So yeah,
significantly improved its barrier behaviour, and
wow,
the stuff you hear, Glenn.
There's nothing like getting the scrap at school to do what you're supposed to.
Yeah, yes.
Then they went and barred it.
The old cane.
Yeah.
Oh,
$5 plus Dame Giselle there. It seems unwanted, really, in a sense.
It seems a surprisingly good odds to me, but wary of the parade there. Like I said, it might be my best way at $5, and I might come back and lay it.
Well, I think there's 3 chances in the race, which is obviously Dame Giselle and See You Soon is so linked, and the one that's got a little bit of DF about it and might have upside is number 5, September Run. They're the only 3 I'm entertaining, and my primary result is going to be on number 3, See You Soon.
Yeah, so I guess if you see, this is race 4. If you've seen that the fence is a positive, I suppose that's a good thing. The trouble with the fence being a positive is that they don't tend to leave the fence. Whereas if they felt that the track was fairer, they might spread a bit.
Normally happens later on in the day rather than race 4.
Okay, that's true. Race 5 and Fun Star's looking easy here. So nearly 5,000 matched and well into the $3 range. Special reward, a target horse. It's a firmer, and Roe Heron is also a tightener, but seemed to be a school of thought against the favourite here, which is interesting, isn't it?
What's interesting is the bloke who trains Probability came out in media and said we can't win. What's that about?
Right, so is he allowed to say that?
Isn't that what we were asking for? A little bit more honesty and a less...
Yeah, but when I got it, I was surprised.
And kumbaya. Yeah. It is a shock. Yeah. Well, you're still talking about that trot driver in Western Australia, Glenn. So.
That was the best. Yeah, you're right, Gordon. Can't have it both ways. But it was. I mean, he said Probability can't beat Funstar, but Probability has beaten Funstar. It can beat it, but maybe not. Maybe they're just saying they're focusing it later on.
Oh no! What is the target? Because I mean, its best runs have been Randwick 1,400 metres. It's not like it is a 1.5 mile horse, really.
Yeah.
But anyway, it doesn't appear tuned up. So that's really what he's saying, isn't he?
Funstar seems to me like it's going to get to that price where you just have to have a good result on it, because it's getting that price where you are the best horse in the race, and I'll take the risk with the map and other things being more prepared at that particular.
Well, I mean, but the official map has it in a good spot, Gord.
Yeah, well, not grand final, barrier 7.
I suppose that must be the thinking. Every time you see there's a situation like this, you want to have a good handle on why it's happening. And it's
maybe 1,200 too. It resumed over 1,400 last prep, didn't it?
Yeah. It hasn't got any 1,200 grades, so maybe that's it. Anything to add there, Glenn? Or
No, I'm going to bet on him. Parade.
Now a bit of resistance, I think. to Adelong, which there's 17,500 matched. So that, this is a focus horse, and she's mid twos, which is a lot longer than I've marked it. So the layers look like they're out in force here. What do we make of that?
I think they're going to be paying us then.
Well, hopefully. I certainly think so. Anything to add there, Gord, or other, it's surprising that we're going to get that sort of price about Adelong.
Yeah, well, Adelong is still a horse on the up, so I'm expecting it to do better things this preparation because I have a high opinion of the horse. But I can understand the people that want to lay it, is what I'm saying, even though I'll be backing it.
I suppose, she does bring 3 straight Rosehill wins to this, and her defeat was when she was fresh on that diabolical track at Canterbury.
Where it was an absolutely sensational run.
Yes, it was.
So you should be giving it a tick for it. But
yes, indeed. Race, the main event, the Bostonian is the trimmer. Is there anything else to read in this? Good action on Master of Wine there. He seems to be the most popular horse at the moment. Obviously,
got to say it's a race, don't you?
It is a race, isn't it? They're out in force. So I suppose it's also a good gauge on where these horses are going in the next few weeks.
Brandenburg a little smoky in that race, guys.
Well, it is. I see Brandenburg. I think Pancho. Those 3-year-olds that particularly ran around in that Hobartville, aren't they just no good? Aren't they not this level?
Yeah, maybe.
That's what I'm thinking.
Anyway, it's going to be an interesting parade race.
Can't wait.
Yeah. Obviously, the forward horses the get forward horses that are a bit tuned up represent something. Where Contapatiro is obviously a focus horse, and it'll be interesting to see if Dreamforce looks any better than he's been trialling. Gord, he's not really. Doesn't really appear to have come back.
Look, I'd suggest when you're that age after those trials, it means it's probably not win a race again.
Yep.
So,
Exactly.
I think the reason the Bostonian's firmed is because 100% this horse has been aimed at this race.
Yep.
While the others, you're not quite sure. That's probably the reason for the firm.
No, that's a good analysis there. The penultimate, Think It Over, I mentioned yesterday, was big odds, and it's halved its price overnight.
Wow, it's so solid, guys. Look at
that. Other than that, it's, Minted, which I was pouring cold water on yesterday's preview show, but there it is, large as life. It's, let's call it the favourite because Canane's had no interest as yet. Not that Minted has especially, but it's a bit of a dog's breakfast, this race. Obviously, a number of barrier trialers here. When I say barrier trialers, just horses that aren't tuned up.
Poetic Charmer, if it gets to about $8, is an easy bet to have in this race.
T-Berry, he's been such a go-to jockey over the last few months. He was much maligned by us for ages, Glenn.
Oh, yeah, he's a terrific rider now. Terrific.
Yeah.
Not that you're going to bag anyone anyway.
Well, how can I? Not allowed to say what I'm thinking.
Anything to add, God?
Well, it seems like nobody in the whole of Australia can these days. So won't say anything more than that, but those out there will know what I'm talking about. My only position would be to lay Minted. I give it no chance.
Yeah, okay.
You give it no chance. Wow. Because we left it out of the quaddie, even though I tipped it second, but you blokes come over the top.
I'm thinking that firm is just 52 barrier 3.
It's there. It's just sitting there, and it's it doesn't appear to have any substance at all. But I suppose remember Man of Peace when he made his entree into into this. It was that sort of situation where not that Minted's got much speed. Man of Peace is obviously can make his own luck. But it's that sort of situation where you've got a race that's up for grabs and you've got a lot of intent with a particular horse down the bottom. The last race is, there's not a lot to speak about here. Obviously, the field sort of lost 6 runners, but didn't seem to lose much in the way of the configuration. It I suppose track pattern will really determine this race because there are a number of interesting runners. Gord, you mentioned Betcha Flying, you mentioned Ice Bath, you mentioned Perigord. They're all runners that you would like to be able to see them run on for, to get seriously involved come the last race.
Very interesting, the amount of money on Perigord. They've been traded 2,700.
Wow.
That's the biggest amount by a mile in the race. I mean, the horse above it's going to be shorter, or it's $150.
But Glenn, it may well be the fact that there was an arbitrage opportunity there for a while.
Yeah, that's obviously why, but still it's of interest.
Yeah, I think you mentioned to me off air that the tab was still betting much longer than the other corps, whilst, you could actually lay it slightly shorter on the fair. All right, well, really interesting day. And obviously on Monday, we'll have a good review of what's going to happen. But hopefully in the meantime, we've given you some decent sound advice. Don't forget that members can avail themselves of the chat room, which has got not just updated information from some very clever dudes regarding Randwick, but all around Australia. And God, it is a bloody feast, isn't it? The chat room for, particularly on a Saturday, there's stuff flying everywhere.
Stuff flying everywhere. And what's great is, you establish who are the experts in their zones. And, most people have a preference to a particular zone. And it means you're getting the bee's knees information wherever you're betting in Australia.
Soon to be renamed the Rant Room, I think, the chat room. It's been such a success. It's obviously part of a Rant membership, and you'd be mad not to have a gold membership because you get the first 2 weeks free and you get a ton of content, extended analysis for every Sydney Metro meeting, including my assessments and the Mounting Yard Mail. You get 5 shows a week, and
well, guys, 2 weeks for free when you got all these good horses coming back. It's definitely a time to sign up for the 2 weeks for free, because Mounting Yard information is not going to be just important for today's card and your betting opportunities, but from a future reference. Because if you find out that one of these good horses has 5 lengths improvement and actually runs well, that's a great sign for 2 weeks down the track or a month down the track.
You're a good salesman.
Important information.
Well done, mate. You're the best.
Well, you're not going to do it, are you?
Anyway.
But you can't wrap yourself, Glenn. That's what I'm saying.
The Mounting Yard Mail is important on days like today for sure. Not so much on Wednesday up the inside all day.
And Randers, take note that, of course, Dave Dwyer offers a great betting service that's a bit different to the corporates. Today, he'll be betting 110% on the last 2 races from noon till 1. And if you throw $500 in an account with Dave, he'll pay 4 weeks of your Racing Rant sub, which is another really good deal for ranters. So get on board there. We'll see all the ranters back here on Monday for a recap of Randwick. Hope you get something today.
Make sure you win.
See you guys.